She hired an old woman to scratch live pox matter slowly into her child's arm. The woman had a needle and a small jar of pox from a mild, recent case. Her 5-year-old son sat still. He didn't fight it. He trusted her call. This wasn't a mistake or some desperate act. It was the plan all along. Like and subscribe to help support the channel. This is how they solved it. And smallpox was killing 30% of everyone who caught it in those years. And the people who had cracked this problem all along weren't European doctors. It's 1717. Lady Montagu is in the Ottoman city now. Her husband has just been named Britain's new envoy to the court. She came along. She speaks French, Latin, and enough Turkish to have real talks in the city. Back home in London, the disease was killing 1 in 3 people who met it. Survivors come out blind, scarred, or broken for the rest of their days. England's Queen Mary II had died at 32 from smallpox. Holy Roman Emperor, King of Spain, the Tsar's line, smallpox took them. No one had an answer. Not the doctors, not the priests, not the rulers. Then one night, Montagu notices something very strange at a dinner in the city. One of the women at the table has a scar on her arm, small, on purpose. Montagu asks about it. The answer, she writes later, stops her cold. The Ottomans had been doing this for decades, maybe far, far longer still. Every autumn in the capital, old Greek women would make their slow rounds. They moved slow and careful through each street with needles and one small jar. Inside the jar, pox matter from a person with a mild and recent case. 4 or 5 scratches on the arm, the pox matter pressed into each one. You would still get the pox, that part was certain, but a much weaker version. Mild fever for a few days, a few spots, then it cleared, you were safe. Your own body had just learned to fight the very disease while it was still weak. That very thing which could kill you, used with enough care, could set you free. This knowledge hadn't come from court doctors or any royal science body. It came from old Greek women living inside the Ottoman city. Just them. No degrees, no Latin texts, no church behind it, no king at all. Just a practice passed down woman to woman, for years and years and years. Where it first started long before that is still being traced by scholars even today. The Seljuk Turks had brought it west from the Caucasus, long, long before. The same method was used in China, and in parts of West Africa as well. 3 cultures, 3 parts of the world, the same core idea, on their own. But in all of Europe, still none of this had moved. The knowledge hadn't crossed. She copies it all into a long letter home, and then she does something bigger. March 1718, the British embassy in the city, a quiet room. The woman arrives with her needle and her jar. Young Edward sits and waits. His name is Edward, he is 5, and his mother has already made the call. She has seen what the pox does in person to those who meet it with no protection. She survived it herself. It took her looks and her eyelashes at 26. Her brother had not made it out. That is what sits behind her choice this day. The embassy surgeon Charles Maitland watches the old woman work, afraid. 4 scratches on Edward's arm, pox matter pressed in, and then waiting. The boy gets a mild fever, a few marks appear, and then nothing more. Done, the first European child ever protected from the pox in this way. She writes to her friend Sarah back home in England. She is clear and very sure. She describes the needle, the jar, the mild outcome, the logic behind it. 2 years later, the family returns to London. She speaks to the royal court. The royal family lived in fear. 2 of the king's grandchildren had died. They need proof. Maitland engrafts 6 willing prisoners, all 6 walk. Then 5 orphans, all 5 made it through, and the princess gives her word. Maitland engrafts the royal children in 1722. It holds. The method works. Britain knows it now, but here's the part that gets strange. Thousands of miles west, Onesimus is already telling the same story there. He is enslaved, working in Boston for the minister Mather. No choice. One day he shows the minister a scar on his arm, and then explains it. In West Africa, where he'd been taken from, people did the same to children. They called it different names, but the method was the same as the Ottomans. Onesimus told Mather, back home people give themselves the pox, they live. Then Mather reads the Royal Society's report. 1714. A Greek doctor named Timony had written up engrafting in the Ottoman city. 2 years later, a second report, same method, same place, same result. His account and the Ottoman reports matched. Word for word, they matched up. Cotton Mather writes to every Boston doctor he can reach, try this now. Then a ship comes in. April 1721, smallpox aboard. Boston has 11,000 people. Within weeks, the disease is there. Here's the thing nobody wanted to say out loud. Nobody had invented this. Not a doctor, not a king, not any learned body or hall of science. An enslaved man from Africa and a Greek grandmother, your two sources. All of this knowledge had moved through people that no one ever thought to ask. And now it was being tested inside a real, active outbreak in Boston. Dr. Boylston is the one doctor in Boston ready to try it at all. He starts with his son, his household first, then he opens it to the city. Boston's other doctors lose their minds. Dangerous, they say, wrong. The selectmen order Boylston to stop. He reads the order, he keeps going. Mather receives a grenade through his bedroom window. Real, at night. The note tied to it read, "Stop this or I will blow your house to pieces." A pamphlet defending the practice goes out, and Boylston just keeps going. He engrafts 247 people during the outbreak itself. The outbreak runs its full long course through February, and then it ends. He sits and counts the numbers. The result isn't close to what he had feared. Of those who caught the pox the natural way, 14% of them died. Of those Boylston engrafted, 2%, not 14, 2%. That is a 7-to-1 gap in who lives, from a method out of Africa. The Boston doctors who had fought it hard read those numbers, then went quiet. The proof was all right there in front of them, but it came through the wrong people. No one wanted to credit an enslaved man from Africa with saving the town. Onesimus was freed. His name ended up in one small footnote after. An invite to London comes in for Boylston. He shows the data, praised. Montagu was mostly written out not long after her death, soon erased. The old Greek women who started this, not even one footnote left for them. The method spreads through British colonies anyway, then France, then Russia. The year 1768, Catherine the Great gets engrafted first. She wants her court to watch, no fear, no delay, a public act of will. And then, 70 years after that needle in the old city, something shifts. A country doctor in England named Jenner watches a woman with cows. She has cowpox, a cattle disease, minor, no danger to people at all. She has no smallpox scars, none, in a world where nearly all do. Jenner wonders if cowpox is teaching her body the very same core lesson. He tests it next. 1796 works, and it is far safer. No live pox needed, just cowpox. The body still learns, still adapts. He gets the credit. His name is in every textbook, every single one. But the concept wasn't his. It was already 80 years old by the time. He improved the method, made it safer. That part is genuinely good work. But the logic, use a small dose to train the body, that was the Ottomans. West Africa, old Greece, long before any Western lab ran. The science of why it worked wasn't clear for decades more. It still happened. Right now the U.S. has its worst measles outbreak in 35 years. Most of those cases are in children, whose parents chose not to act on the data. What they're pushing back on was proven in Boston in 1721. 2% versus 14. That was the math then, still is the math. Onesimus knew it, Montagu knew it, the old women of the capital knew it, and a 5-year-old boy with just 4 small scratches on his arm knew it too. His mother paid an old woman to scratch live pox matter into her child's arm. She wasn't reckless, she wasn't wrong, she was doing the math ahead of the world. The thing that could kill you, used with full purpose and intent, kept you safe. Vaccines didn't come from a lab. They came from people who watched and learned. People who noticed a pattern, tested it on themselves, and passed it forward. Who gets the credit here, Jenner, the old women, or Onesimus? Tell me below. This episode has come to an end. Leave a comment and tell us what you think. Check the card on screen to watch the next video, and please subscribe below.